wake up every morning rock hard for trivia night. My name is Matthew Kroll.
And I'm your freaky Nikki. My name's Shahir Dowd.
And this is the only podcast about movies, specifically the film Obsession for Men. No, it's just the first word.
That's good, actually. I like that. What would Obsession for Men smell like? According to this movie, vomit and urine.
And Willow's bark.
Yeah. Does Willow's bark have a smell?
Yes,
it does.
I believe it has sort of like a black licoricey smell.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I know nothing.
It's got a little like wormwoody vibe.
There is mythology around Willow's bark, right?
Yes, I mean
I don't know it. Please
I don't know like a ton about it, but it is a thing that is used in
incantations.
I guess like you could go with sort of like and I hate calling it this, but I don't have the specifics. Like more like pagan-esque belief structures have some things, which is but also there's arguments about oh God, I'm going to butcher this. But there's arguments about its municipal properties because I believe
municipal properties.
Not municipal. Wow. Medicinal. Holy shit. It's been a day. Thank you for catching that. No, it's really good with money. No, essentially, I'm going to butcher my own short, but we did a short on the history of aspirin, essentially. Okay. And how on Facebook groups and like all this, misinformation bullshit, people are like, well, you don't really need aspirin. You could just chew on Willow's bark because it's actually the same, not salicylic acid. It's whatever the type of acid is in it is the active ingredient in how aspirin works. However, it does not work that way. Like you'll get sick from it if you just take it for that in enough quantities to cause any actual helpful effects. Like what the making of aspirin does is it moves it into a place that could make it do what it needs to do. I think
I'm going to have faith in the chemical industrial process.
What it's used for now, what a lot of the baseline unprocessed chemical, and I'm sorry, I'm not for email us in onlymoviepodcast@gmail.com if you know this or if you watch my short, is wart remover. It's the same like chemical that you can use on like the pads and stuff that it's sold as wart remover.
So if you have a venereal disease that involves your mouth,
this
is not an endorsement.
Not medical advice.
This is no medical advice offered here, and nor should we ever after having seen Cory Barker's new film, which I'm very excited to talk about. It was kind of a last minute.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah. It was kind of a last minute suggestion this week to jump in on this one. Cory Barker is a well-regarded YouTuber and TikToker, which I had seen a few of his shorts on TikTok.
Sure.
And I was sort of curious, but like not, overly excited. I was just like, oh, this would be, like it's playing locally. It's $750,000. Let's see how good it could be.
I mean, so this is going in the Talk to Me oeuvre of YouTube of comedy YouTubers turned horror people, because his YouTube channel was That's a Bad Idea.
Yeah.
He's done a short film that got lauded called The Chair,
which
Chair, which I have not seen.
Yeah.
And I have not watched. I want to check out That's a Bad Idea now, though.
He's also got a feature film in there called Milk and Cereal.
Oh, really?
It's in 1 hour, which they launched on YouTube. It's basically a found footage horror movie that he made over a period of time. And there's an interview with him over at The Big Picture this week, where he talks about the fact that because Cory Barker wanted to be an actor, so he made up a bunch of scenes to sort of showcase his acting ability. And then kind of realized he had a string of scenes that could go together, and turned it into a story about a serial killer.
That's so fun.
And it's called Milk and Cereal, which is on YouTube. I have not watched that one, but I watched The Chair today. And there's like you said, this sort of YouTube to feature film pathway, like the Filippo brothers, and also like Markiplier recently with Iron Lung, which you did see.
And now Jacksepticeye is going to be doing something, producing the Bloodborne animated film.
There you go. Yeah. I mean, look, and I think there's a thing maybe in the way we're discussing this, which is treating YouTube as pejorative as far as filmmaking priorities goes, but or is the way people will kind of regard that pipeline. But the thing about like the Filippo brothers or Markiplier, or in this case, Cory Barker, is YouTube is akin to, YouTube Shorts is akin to like the music video pathway or the commercial pathway. It's just like, it's a more accessible way to make stories and to and to hone their craft.
Couldn't agree more. Nebula's doing it.
Yeah.
Like if you might be listening to literally this conversation on Nebula right now, you could sign up using our link if you'd like. But there's ad-free versions of all of our stuff over there. But the series of short films that Nebula's working on, Subliminal,
Right.
like that's going to be dropping, I believe. I don't even know when it moved a little bit here and there, but like this year sometime those will start dropping.
Yeah.
I know a friend of the show, Patrick Willems, has done both a short and a long over there.
Yeah.
Abigail Thorne's done a short film. The pathway of content creator on YouTube to movie, and especially I feel like Markiplier with his size and theatrical distribution just kicked the door in.
The Markiplier multiplier,
I guess,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
I think you're 1,000% right with the it used to essentially be music videos,
commercials,
Yeah.
whatever it was. Basically, if you're a young filmmaker, you need to find whatever outlet you can find in order to make things. And we've got Backrooms coming out next week as well. There's another YouTube short turned feature. So I think what I was most excited about before we have emails to talk about as well, but just the one thing I was really excited about is like Obsession is deeply cinematic. It is deeply aware of the cinematic language. And then if you go and watch Curry Barker's YouTube channel and his TikTok channel, those are very aware of the social media platforms as well. They are cut very differently to the way this movie is cut. So he's got so I think it's just exciting to see, the fact that filmmakers have a different avenue in order to make work
1,000%
and really understand how they work and can master all of them really, which is why, like Spike Jonze would be a really great example of a commercial director, music video director who really understands what a music video is and what a commercial is. And then also really understands what a movie is.
Shout out to actually again Patrick did a great I think it's not his most recent one. He did why are there not more dinosaur movies recently, but he just did one about like the music video to director pipeline and why that went away and he shot a bunch of them in the styles of music videos. They're so fucking good.
I haven't watched that one, but I do own and covered a box set of music video directors DVDs that are hard to find. I think there's Mark Romanik's in there, Spike Jonze is in there, Michelle Gondry's in there. So really, and Jonathan Glazer as well. So really, really great stuff. And deeply cinematic stuff. So we will get to Curry Barker's film shortly, but we have some emails. It's been a few weeks. We're under a lot of pressure, by the way. Email us at onlymoviepodcast@gmail.com. So if it takes us a while to read your emails, we apologize. Matt is getting married very shortly.
That's true.
I will be attending the wedding. Then I've got a vacation planned after that. You've got all sorts of work that you're working on as well.
You've been pulling late nights over at your office.
Yeah.
So essentially, should we announce what we're doing over the course of the summer on this show?
Okay. All right. Well, we've got our regular lineup of scheduled movies that we will be excited to get to in terms of new releases that will be at the movie theater. We are also, in addition to that, banking several episodes of older movies that we will announce shortly, possibly themed around one particular actor, if it makes sense for that particular actor, that we will release in those periods when we are both away or can't make an episode that week. No, fret not, though. This incredibly expensive, highly produced show that you have received every day for the last 10 years will not stop.
Every week. You received it every week.
Yeah. What did I say?
Every day.
Every day. Imagine. Can you imagine? Every week for the last 10 years will not stop, not even for the nuptials of one of our hosts.
That's right. Or a big vacation or all of our work.
It didn't stop for the birth of a child. Why would it stop now?
Listen, I don't even know if it can stop.
Yeah.
You might say we're obsessed.
No, we're obsessed. I was also going to say we're like the lock in the hatch in Lost.
Hit the button.
Yeah, we just have to hit the button every week.
Oh my God. Maybe that should be our coverage. We just review Lost.
Lost is so great.
I love Lost.
Lost is fantastic. I love Lost. I think Lost is amazing. And
I didn't know you loved Lost.
I love Lost, yeah.
Did you like the ending?
I didn't mind the ending.
I didn't mind the ending.
Everyone was angry about the ending.
I wasn't angry at the ending.
But I was like, no, this is fine. Yeah.
Did we just become best friends again?
I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast.
Have we?
Yeah. I like Lost a lot. I think the first 4 seasons of Lost are amongst the most exceptional television ever made.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I have everyone on Blu-ray.
Season 3, this is a spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched Lost.
Yeah, skip ahead 20 seconds if you don't want Lost spoilers.
But the fact in season 3 when they They reveal that the flashbacks are actually flash forwards.
Yep.
Just
so good.
Incredible television.
I've been trying to get Jamie to watch Lost, and she's like, I do not want to watch it.
Really?
Yeah, she's never seen it.
Oh, it's such exceptional TV.
So good.
And the other thing is, like, everyone hates this one episode, Paolo Lies. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I love that episode.
It was fine. I didn't hate it. It wasn't my favorite, but I didn't.
I love that episode. I think it's fantastic. So I think Lost is great. Anyway.
The emails got lost, but now we found them.
Yeah, but the emails got lost. We now definitely have them right now. Let me take the first one from Nika. Hi, man, Shahir. After a wildly busy month, I finally got around to listening to the top 10 of 2025 episode. It was so good as usual. I always enjoy hearing your folks' take, and these episodes really are fun hearing all of the listeners' top 10s, the Drunken White Elephant Party, and of course, your folks' year in review of the reviews of the year. First off, thank you so much for featuring my top 10 in the episode. It means so much every time. Also, thank you, Shahir, for your kind words and compliments of my writing. Anika is writing film reviews, by the way. I will try to include a link of that, and she's fantastic. Thank you for reading my work. It means so much to me. You have no idea. I really look up to both of you for your film takes. I don't know why you would do that. And the work you do is, really means the world to me. So thank you. Listening to you folks has really been a part of my journey and feeling like I have something to say and that folks maybe would like to hear it. Anika, if we have something to say, you 100% have something to say. Like this show is all about that.
We just did this and didn't stop.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I guess that's step one, but you're already past that.
Okay. Secondly, I had some miscellaneous thoughts that came up for me when I was listening, so I thought I'd share them here. Matt, I felt the same way about the cutting of the speech for the K-pop Demon Hunters crew for winning Best Original Song. So obviously referring to the Oscar. That was such a moment, and it felt so disrespectful for them to cut them off like that. I feel like they could have cut a Conan bit out and given them more time. Despite that, I enjoyed the ceremony overall, although I will admit I was listening to Conan's bits. I felt they ran too long. And the performance of I Lied to You was transcendent. I cried. Shahir, I agree with your take that the more you examine one battle after another, the more shaky its examination of revolutionary politics are and the overall politics of the film are. I really loved it when I first watched it, but the more distance I've had from it, despite it still make my top 10, I find myself standing by it less. I've seen some critiques of it, especially from the lens of how Black women are portrayed, which has given me pause, and I was wondering, how do you feel about PTA saying that he won't speak about politics despite how much the film is based around politics? I think that kind of soured the film for me a bit as well. I may need to rewatch things to explore this further. My only side thought about that is very much, it feels like PTA is a savvy campaigner, and part of that conversation is how you campaign around an Oscar. Like look no further than Timothée Chalamet's comments that got misconstrued in the last thing. You got to be really careful about what you say around that period. But yes, this is a movie deeply ingrained in like the politics of now, and it would have been great for him to kind of do that. But I could foresee publicists, his production company, the distribution company, all saying, "Do not touch this in the year of an election," yada yada yada, or the year of a particularly divisive political.
What are you talking about?
Finally, two more notes here. I'm really curious to hear your folks' thoughts on Becoming a Guinea Fowl. I haven't watched it, but your discussion has prompted me to find out where it is streaming in Canada. It is on HBO Max. I've yet to see it, but we will get.
We also don't know if HBO Max works in Canada the same way. Like they just got it in London.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Also, the description of Eternity as Challenges Meets the Good Place from poet Party Guest Dave is so apt. I watched it a few months ago and really enjoyed it, so I have a lot to say about it, which makes about what makes a well-lived life. I really think you folks should watch it. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. It's great.
Nice.
With so many positive notes about Eternity, we definitely have to go back. And
I know that's Dave, like founder of Nebula, by the way.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you both once again for another great year of movie reviews. Looking forward to what's coming for 2026. Basically, a lot of nonsense. Hope you both have a great evening. Best, Anika.
Hey, thank you, Anika. That's very lovely. All right, let's see. We got another one from Kellen saying, "Hey, Matt and Shahir and the Topam fam. Quickly wanted to throw in my 2 cents regarding the drama.
There it is.
My partner and I saw it in a theater with about 20 people total, and we were noticeably the only two regularly laughing out loud. We both thought it was extremely smart and hilarious. More than anything, though, it just reinforced our mutual decision to not have a wedding. While the incident that spurs the drama was certainly uncomfortable, everything related to planning the wedding and the reception and dealing with all the people in it or working on it is what really made me squirm. 5 minutes at City Hall with a handful of close friends and family as witnesses sounds good to us. Thanks as always for the great discussions and the sooner than expected return of Jamie." Kellen, thank you, Kellen.
I think you can feel this one.
I mean, listen, is it Is it both the best and the dumbest financial decision Jamie and I have made to have a large wedding that is somewhat a destination? Absolutely. Look, I get both. We debated it for a while. It is one of the most stressful things I've done in my entire life because I call it my third job. I do my regular job and then I took a second job to pay for my third job.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the way I look at it, it's all about the value prop you put on, and what you described with your handful of close friends and family at City Hall. That sounds lovely too. I think I used it as an excuse to throw a bunch of money I don't have at putting all the people that I love in one place at one point in my life, because the only other time that might happen is my funeral, and I won't be able to be there.
Is this a shakedown? Are we going to get shaken down at the wedding?
With love.
Right.
No, it's just like, it's true. Like what other event will people actually show up for? Like every person show up for, and weddings are kind of the thing. And so I wanted to leverage that one card you can play I don't think this is fair, but also, like, I say one time because they're like, oh, we can get divorced and get married again. I think
there's
a diminishing guest return, I imagine, as like, because listen, travel and doing anything, especially in the summer, is a huge pain in the ass. People have their families and kids and all this stuff, and it's huge to do this. And I feel like everybody kind of gets one when they get married, and you can ask your friends to come have a nice time in a place. But that's what I wanted, and I'm sticking to it because I already signed the contract.
Yeah, no turning back now.
Nope.
Paul writes, greetings, Topam captains. It's funny you asked because I almost never listen to a podcast episode without watching the covered movie first. However, I decided to make an exception for Cronin Lee's Mummy the. Mostly for the parental aversion to seeing kids in danger that Shahir mentioned. With one young daughter already and her sister due in just a few weeks. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Paul. Little mummy girls just aren't my bag, and the middling reviews haven't swayed me. Maybe some Halloween marathon in the future. Looking forward to the next one, Paul. P.S. Lee Cronin was the pseudonym of Star Trek's TOS producer-writer Gene Kuhn, which is probably an insignificant coincidence, but feels wild to me. Imagine if a guy named Alan Smithy showed up. This is okay. That is fascinating. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that Lee Cronin was in a pseudonym, and then also an assumed name of eventually became a real name.
Yeah.
One thing, Paul, I will say is that yes, while I do have a real aversion to seeing kids in danger, there was never a moment where I actually felt that trigger happening during the Mummy, because the Mummy is so ridiculous that I never once connected it to a real thing.
Here's what the Mummy gave me, and you don't need to see the movie to get it. Jamie and I now, whenever we're talking about anything and want to sort of end it on a laugh, we just go, "Don't worry, Grandma. It's fun to blank."
Yeah.
And it could be literally anything, and it's just fun to just say it in that little girl's voice. Don't worry, Grandma. It's fun to quote Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I don't know. It's a delight, and I'll be thankful for it for a while.
Well, let's shift gears to another horror movie. And actually, I was thinking about Lee Cronin's The Mummy as I was watching this.
Why?
Because of the distinctions we're going to make very, very soon. Could you tell us what Kari Barker's new film, Obsession for Men, is all about?
Wow, it's strong enough for a man, but pH balance for a woman. It is, as according to the Internet Movie Database, after breaking the mysterious one-wish willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for, but soon discovers that some desires come in a dark, sinister price.
I think the other way to say that is what is my God, I'm so...
We're not doing great today.
We're not doing great. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. Yeah. I wish that this, after seeing this film overall, that's fairly accurate. I wish that they didn't use the word hopeless romantic to describe Bear. I don't like that.
Well, he is hopelessly romantic.
No,
however,
he's hopeless.
He's also the villain of this movie.
Yeah.
He's I'll jump in with what I thought.
Sure.
I love this. I absolutely love this. I was flabbergasted by how effective this movie worked in terms of just being such a great turn of the screw kind of movie. It is about how far can we turn this screw in terms of pushing the audience further and further into this thing. It features a terrific performance from Inde. I'm going to butcher this.
Navarrete.
Inde Navarrete. I think one of my favorite Oscar-winning performances that never won an Oscar is from Get Out. The woman who played the maid in that movie. I don't have her name in front of me, by the way. But when she does that no kind of monologue where we realize something's going on behind her eyes and there is a soul trapped within another body, I just thought that was one of the most amazing pieces of film acting in a long time, held in a close-up. And Inda Neverett has to do that throughout the entirety of this movie. And there's a sort of manic energy to the way she can flip on a dime. And what's great about it is, as the audience, you know immediately what it is. And in that respect, the other thing that I really loved about this movie is that, on the one hand, the movie has little to no interest in building up a grander mythology than what is needed in order for the story to progress.
Truly, Curry Barker has said in multiple interviews, they're like, is there a lore? And he's like, nope. He's like, that's not my job.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And I watched it and was like, I could see not a Lisa movie, but just a more traditional film, kind of building up to a third act reveal of the grander conspiracy, the larger lore at play here, like witches, covens, whatever it is.
It's truly John Wick's problem. Like John Wick, I feel like the first one worked so well because of a simple premise, revenge for the dog, etc. But the world of John Wick was so magical and like felt very like special and underground, and like there's information and lore around every corner, and every subsequent John Wick film that actually dives deeper and explains how the Continental works and what the coins do and the high table.
Like far diminishing returns.
It's so funny how you can just be like, nah, like this is just how it works.
Yeah. And to the thing that I kind of like was really struck by was how confident this movie is. Like, it's so confidently told. It's there's incredible sort of moments of cinematography here where they really darken her face out so that you're only just kind of seeing the shadows of our
It's almost
eyes.
as if it's a shadow of the character.
A shadow of the character. And then what that does is, like, I think Inda Neverett is like probably like 5 foot something, 5 foot nothing.
Yeah, she's terrifying.
But she's terrifying in the shadows. And it's like, it's incredible sleight of hand. The movie's also clearly very funny in parts as well, particularly with how it works. And then the thing I was thinking about in terms of like Lee Cronin's The Mummy or Weapons, in particular Zach Krieger's film, is the way in which what I loved about this film is its sort of real restraint of expansion. Like, it's like this movie exists around these four characters and not a lot more outside of that. And the things where, like, for example, in Weapons, one of the problems I had is like, there's clearly a world outside of the events that are going on. And there's clearly a lot of characters that are, involved in the events that are going on, that sometimes, like, when you stretch the movie that far, the sort of suspension of disbelief becomes a little bit harder because it's like there's so many parameters at play. This movie is so insular between these four characters that, like, the suspension of disbelief isn't that far of a leap, because you're just like, well, that guy is kind of the villain of the movie. So therefore the things that he is like going along with, which are horrific in this film, like, are buyable because we don't have to think or imagine.
He's not doing it stupidly. He's doing it on purpose.
But also, we don't have to imagine the world beyond him. Like, we don't have to imagine, like, I watched Carrie Barker's film, The Chair, today, and there's a scene where police come in from outside, and I was like, oh, that's an expansion of the world that therefore, like, your brain has to go, well, how are the police going to navigate this? What would they do in this situation? There's none of that in this movie. There's nothing like that. And I found that the delivery of this sort of really insular, be careful what you wish for story, done with like both a sense of really clever dread and humor, really works for me. And I was like, it reminded me in many ways of like Gone Girl, in terms of like the way that movie plays with an audience. Like, this is a movie that knows how to play with its audience. So good.
Yeah, horror is always. I agree with you completely. I fucking love this movie. I saw it an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. I was floored by how good this
was. Horror works best for me when it takes an incredibly simple premise and works within that world, but then also has essentially things to say about society in general. We'll get to those things as we go forward. But my sort of first thoughts here were, first and foremost, this is the kind of movie that I call this a making friends movie because I went to go see this movie alone, and I sat. There was a couple next to me. The gentleman was on my left, and his girlfriend was next to him, and then on the right was an older guy.
Yeah,
and it was moments where like we'd notice the other ones are reacting to it, and we're turning and we're looking at each other like strangers. Like, are you fucking kidding me? In a real nice way, because like the movie is incredibly effective. I sort of coined the term essentially like. And I know this is going to sound like maybe it doesn't seem like the highest praise to you, but it is to me. This is an elevated Buffy plot. Like this is.
I thought it was a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah. Like this is something that like it takes a very simple premise that apparently he got from the Treehouse of Horrors Monkey Paw episode.
Yeah.
Which makes total sense. And
you got to remember this guy's 27 years old.
I know, but it makes it takes a very simple premise and then essentially mashes it into destructive sort of codependent relationships.
Yeah.
And it does it in a very, very, very interesting way. I think making me essentially hate almost from the get-go Bear.
Yeah.
And then listen, I wasn't like endeared to Nikki when Nikki was still Nikki, but there was nothing wrong with her.
Yeah.
And then
wait, did you think she was a villain by the end of the movie?
No, not at all. I'm saying, well, the demon is a villain, but the demon's also trapped. Like it's a whole thing. Or if it's a demon, we don't even know what the fuck it is. Yeah. Everything is Bear's fault.
Yeah. Bear's the villain.
Yeah. But I think sort of the way this movie, we'll dive into it a little deeper, deals with codependency and deals with the toxicity of everything from like dating in 2026 to like, and I'll use this with a hard eye roll that I hope I do so much that you can hear it over the podcast. The male loneliness epidemic.
Sure.
There's a lot of elements here that I feel like could only come from a 27-year-old right now taking this, again, well-worn trope, but doing it so exquisitely and honestly, and with such a adept hand, like little things like even the sound design around certain elements of this movie is insane. There's a particular moment in this movie that I will go back to if I were to ever teach a film class. Essentially like it's a scene I want to watch 1,000 times, and we'll get to which one that is eventually. But this movie is chock full of, again, excellent performance by Indy that you can't. I'm so shocked that I haven't seen her in more stuff. I know she's relatively new, but she's going to be fucking, I think, everywhere after this.
Yeah.
I think she is a go-to talent like that just outshines every other actor, including Andy Richter.
Yeah. I love that Andy Richter's in this.
It's
like,
so
barely
good.
In this, like
so funny.
It's basically, he's just at the periphery of this movie.
I wonder if that comes from essentially, the web series that Clive does, like probably is very popular enough, or Curry does, that he probably just asked Andy Richter to be in his horror movie as the dad, and Andy Richter's like, yeah, sure, fuck it.
Well, this is the other thing is that Curry Barker and Cooper Tomlinson, who is in the movie, have since making this film, they've shot another movie which is coming out shortly. Which I think is more of a comedy akin to another one of the web series that they've done. They've got another space web series on their channel as well. That they've made since then. And then Curry Barker is going on to direct the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre that's coming up as well.
How many times has that been remade? 3 now?
Yeah, I believe so. I've told you the story how I was in Marcus Nispel's house, who directed the first remake. And it's an enormous house. And I was just like, this is the money.
This is where it goes.
This is the Texas. This is the Platinum Dunes Texas Chainsaw.
Amazing.
Money. I couldn't be more excited to see a new filmmaker like this kind of really excel in this way, because it's also a $750,000 movie, and it is far and away. How much was Mortal Kombat 2 that we saw last week? It was probably like $40 million, something like that.
Something.
Like this $750,000 movie was far and away the more exciting, more entertaining, more, just pure flat out joy of a film to watch.
I agree with everything up to joy.
Really?
That's a very what's the word I'm looking for? That is a personal sort of thing. Yeah. I feel like I will say I think this movie is from a clinical standpoint and from a couple others A better movie than Mortal Kombat 2.
Joy, I guess what I'm saying is joy in terms of like what you're describing, which is that there was a communal experience being had.
That's one
here.
version of it. Yeah, absolutely.
And also a communal experience that was being shared by everybody in the theater. It was just like,
but I mean, if we're going by that metric, that also happened in my screening of Mortal Kombat 2 in IMAX. Like, so
okay.
again, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is objectively a better movie than Mortal Kombat 2.
and a far, like,
but I don't know which one I had more fun at.
Oh, really? Oh, well, it's not even a question mark for
Oh,
me,
of course. Yeah,
like,
that makes total sense. But like, that's all what you bring into it too.
Yeah.
The thing I loved about this movie is I went in completely blind. I knew nothing.
Yeah.
I knew nothing. And I just was like, oh, what's this going to be? And then the second, this is why you know it's done so well.
Yeah.
There's never structurally a surprise. Like, you kind of see the path this is going. It's a long straight road and you know exactly where it's going, but that's not normally in like these sort of like supernatural, like spooky things. It's almost like, well, I don't understand it, so I need to like whatever. No. You know exactly where these characters are going to end up, but you're now with them for the entirety of the ride, to the point that many people, I've seen it in a couple different reviews, and actually someone walking out of the theater behind me, I heard them say this, be like, I loved that, but I wanted it over.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to be there anymore, but it was great. And I was like, there's an uncomfortableness, because I think the themes of codependency hit really close to home for a lot of people.
When you're saying that there's no surprise to it, but you're on the ride, I think that's the mark of a skillful film. Yeah. And what it made me think about, and it's perhaps not quite the right analogy here, is like the thing that Alfred Hitchcock said about surprise versus suspense.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what he said about that?
I've heard it, but I don't remember the exact quote.
His quote is, surprise is a bus is driving down the street in London and a bomb explodes. Suspense is you see the bomb being placed and then you watch as the bus drives along for the next 10 minutes. Because now we are invested in the story and what is going to happen. And it's the same thing that's happening here, which is that we all know that Nikki is possessed the minute she walks back to the car.
Yeah.
Like everyone in the movie knows that the wish has come true.
Something is wrong.
And the monkey paw of this all has happened, and we are in a terrible world. And then we are struck by how willing Bear is to go along with it, because if it has exceeded his wildest fantasy, even though he knows what has happened. And then there are moments where, like, I think it's that I don't know what the timeline of the movie is. It could have been like 2 weeks. It could have been a year for all I know. But the moment when she is awake watching him sleep. Oh my God. It is like, this is again, just thinking about that Eddie Murphy quote about like Poltergeist, which is like, you need to get out at this moment. But Bear is such a douchebag and is clearly the villain of the movie, that he stays through that, even though she's like, basically he's sleeping with a demon at this point. And then there's a scene later where she cooks his cat. We don't even know if she cooked it. Yeah. Or
it's
she
put it in a sandwich.
It's put in a sandwich. And like that was, and it's just like, he is so like, he is such the toxic male epidemic loneliness thing where he's like, no more weird shit from now on. You can't cook my cat. I'm like, and I love that he practiced it. Yeah. And the thing is that, that thing about like, there's no surprises, but we're on the ride, is that we know clearly why he's doing that. Like we are 100% aware of the type of human being he is that would allow these things to happen and to not say anything, because at some point it was made very evidently clear that he needs to die in order for the curse to be broken. And when we realized that, we were also like, there's just this tacit understanding that he's not going to do that. Yeah. Because he's too much of a narcissist.
There's something that Kerry Barker said in an interview, and I love it. And I think I've thought of this before, but never put it so succinctly. He goes, a wish is intrinsically selfish.
Right. Sure.
Because you're not working towards anything. You're like, you just want a thing because you want a thing. And the second that you sort of like, and that's not just like, it's fun to wish for things and sort of whatever, but if you could just wish for something and it happened, it would be your will exerted over either some other person or the world or something like that. And that will intrinsically change or break the pattern that a person would be going down regardless. And it's so interesting, just like looking at relationships in that regard. The other thing about this that was very interesting that I found was essentially like the wanting of a romance with a friend. Like they're friends. Like they are legitimately friends in this movie.
He's unaware. And
he wants it to be more, but he's too chicken shit to do anything about it, anything real, anything constructive.
Yeah.
And that sort of all comes to a head at the party when after she has to like read something she wrote, and she basically reads like some really fucked up incestuous Hansel and Gretel sexual fan fiction.
Yeah.
But it's about them.
Yeah.
It's about how she is trapped in a thing and but will not let it go. And like it's so apt on how the real Nikki sees Bear and how Demon Nikki sees Bear, and how they're delighting in not only it feels like a lot of the times, like I'm just calling it Demon Nikki because I don't know the right terminology, but like Demon Nikki, Freaky Nikki does really want like it has like that desire, that codependency for love, but also is like sort of enjoying the fact that like real Nikki is being sort of tortured along the way.
I wouldn't. There's something more to that, which is that I think real Nikki, Freaky Nikki, wants to like. It reminds me of the old schlocky B horror movies, The Wishmaster.
Yeah,
and The Wishmaster took joy in the fact that a person's wish is not going to be what they think it is. And the movie name drops Aladdin at the beginning of the movie as well, so it's clearly making this point about like that. And I think Freaky Nikki is doing things, taking joy in the fact that these what Freaky Nikki is doing, whether it be a demon, whatever, I don't really care, is inverting what Bear wants. Like, so when Bear comes home and Freaky Nikki is basically stood in one place, covered in urine and vomit and what have you, I think the Freaky Nikki demon thing is relishing in the ability to like invert what Bear wanted.
I actually don't know if I agree with that.
Because I don't think Freaky Nikki wants love.
No. Like, I would argue, truly, I would argue with the way the movie ends. It says that it does.
Freaky Nikki wants love?
Yeah, but like, but it doesn't understand it. It's a demon. It's toxic version of it. It's everything. Because if and I guess we'll sort of get into spoilers because we're talking about this at this point. It is assumed that at the end of the movie, as Bear is trying to convince people to undo his wish with another break of a Willow's branch from the little box, which I want to talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Eventually he takes a bunch of pills to kill himself, and then you hear a snap, and Freaky Nikki wished for something.
Yeah.
And what Freaky Nikki wished for, at least is what is it implied, is that Bear would love her as much as she loves him. And that to me says that whatever this thing is, love is a fucked up thing, like in general, because it can be the most beautiful thing in the world, or it can be the most toxic thing in the world. Freaky Nikki's version is the most toxic thing in the world. And I think the fact that moment happens and they have that weird, like, inverse Romeo and Juliet, like actually like fake love, but hardcore obsession love each other right before he dies, and then inevitably frees her to live in the horror that he had created for her. I think that says that whatever that being wants that desperately.
The thing that I thought about there was that what I wanted was for him not to die, but for him to now live through the torture that he is inflicted upon her.
Yeah, he gets out of life.
I was like he kind of gets out of this very, very quickly.
She's fucked.
And I kind of saw it more as this is the thing that Freaky Nikki, well, the idea, this is what Bear's version of Freaky Nikki would want. But I don't think if Freaky Nikki wants love. I think
she wants the toxic version of love.
Yeah, and
it's the idea of the dark side of love.
But what I love there is like when he makes the call to the Willow Tree, the Willow One Wish Willow Company.
That is the scene.
It's like I love that scene so much because it was like it's so deadpan, Gen Z kind of like.
I love the banality of mythical evil, and that's why I kind of went into like it's like this is a Buffy episode. Like, because there's a lot of that style of like how the occult works. But like it's a helpline. Yeah. And you're like,
and it's a helpline from a dude who doesn't
give a shit. And like and to be perfectly honest, the most terrifying thing in the entire movie happens at the end of that call when
she says, "Do you want to hear her?"
Yeah. Oh, do you want to talk to her?
Yeah.
And then it's just the most blood curdling screams. He's like, "Do you want to talk to her?" Like, and it's not. The way he's speaking isn't even like. It's just like, dude doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think like that is.
Oh, I got chills just thinking about it.
It's such a clever. Like again, I know and this is like, I'll come from my point of view, is that if I was like producing this film or like advising on this film at some point, I'd be like, we need to open up the mythology in some way and like explore the bigger things, because you know, the movies, you're going to run out of steam by like minute 80 or something like that, unless you can like open the world up in some way. And that's like the 100%, like, or it's actually doing that, but like with the most inventive response, which is the like, well, we'll just do it in a voice, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't matter one.
That happens like halfway through.
Yeah, and then
he keeps going.
Yeah, and he eventually goes back to the storekeeper, who's like some other guy that's there.
I love the store.
Who's like doesn't care. Just is like, oh yeah, this is.
I love that. Like when he first buys it from the woman, she's like, just don't come returning it, and he's like, why do people return it? She's like, yeah. But you don't, because we can't do anything.
Like,
and he still does it.
Yeah.
And then even when the guy, it's funny, they're like, why would you sell these things? And I got real like, you know, cigarettes or any other thing. He's like, there's warnings on the box, man. Why would you buy it? Like, it's so, that to me, that moment really said who Bear was. And Bear is someone who will constantly essentially blame other people for his inaccuracies or ineptitudes or anything, other I words you can think of that are negative. Like, nothing is Bear's fault. It is other people's faults, and that's why a wish comes.
To be fair, when he breaks the willow at the beginning, he is not, it's a throwaway. He's not like imagining it to do something.
That's the cool part about this.
He's not being malevolent, but what he is malevolent is when malevolent. What am I trying to say? Either way, intentional is when he suppresses his understanding of what is happening in order to get the thing that he wants. And there's no bitter telling of it in one simple shot of them having sex. Yeah. They have sex, and it's like you clearly understand the dynamics at play here. And it's horrifying. He is the worst. And like the thing that I'm waiting for watching the whole movie is his comeuppance. And I think he gets off a little light in terms of the movie, but like I don't want the movie to do anything else. Like I don't,
funny.
You know,
while he's before his inevitable end, with the death of Sarah, played by Megan Lawless, who I liked very much. Is that Lucy Lawless's daughter?
No.
Oh,
I looked it up as well to consider, but they're unrelated.
Oh man. And also the filling out the quartet was Cooper Tomlinson playing Ian, who did a very good job. And I loved his moment when he broke the willow branch because he didn't believe it. He was like, I wish $1 billion. Just starts raining. And I'm like, there we go.
Kari Barker and he are writing partners, and they work on everything together. So
funny.
They just have what's great about watching them is they have an innate trust with each other.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about a specific scene later, but like, continue.
Oh, I was just going to say the idea of sort of like Bear, it's the same shit, right? Like Bear's the kind of guy that like, if he just get out of his own fucking way and essentially get any self-confidence whatsoever, he would have versions of everything he wants in a way. Like he wants Nikki, but like also his friend Sarah, who's in a similar situation, is obviously into him, and maybe he's not into her, and that's fine. But then that's like, it's just, and like, if he paid more attention to what Ian sort of hints about, like why he should or shouldn't do things, maybe there'd be some revelations there that maybe, you know, I don't know. It's just, everything is so insular and everyone else's fault with Bear that that felt very true to me in a people that I've known sense.
I think there is what I also like about the movie is it's kind of light touch with the societal implications of what's going on around them. Mm-hmm. Like it isn't really getting into, it doesn't, I mean, I think the sort of qualities of a toxic relationship are definitely on display here and heightened to like, 100 degrees. But I don't think the movie's like really trying to push something bigger or a more meaningful statement out of that.
Showing how damaging obsessive relationships can be.
But it's clearly one person is the villain here, and that is the person that we.
Oh yeah, but you can look at it at different levels too, right? Like,
and there's no subversion of that idea or anything like that. And I think the movie is all the better for it. Like it is so clear about what it's trying to do and the thrill ride that it's on. And then there's no. What I also like about it is that there is no larger society, I mentioned this before, society outside of the four characters, right. Like there's like hints of like other people that are around, but not really, and it's not really that important. Like the actual apartment that he lives in or the house that he lives in, that used to be grandma's house, I was just like, is it just these four walls? Is there nobody else around here? And I was like, but that's what's cool about it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what really, really works about it. Is like there is a horror movie going in this like insular world.
He does get. I mean, again, he shouldn't. I wish he got more of a comeuppance, but I think when Sarah is murdered in front of him,
Yeah.
brutally,
Oh my God.
like that's a Mortal Kombat fatality right there.
Yeah.
And then he has to like help dispose of the body,
And then what happens to that
and
body?
then what happens to that
That
body?
body-
Like
Yeah.
he is put through hell.
Yeah,
in
but
those
not
moments,
But
not
she
a-
is
not
she
enough?
is
I don't know.
Yeah, she's existentially tortured while living in living in another body for however long or
Yeah.
however it is.
God, the scene where she's sleeping, or when the demon is, I keep freaking Nikki sleeping, and then regular Nikki can like
Yeah,
still
still
talk and just like,
talking,
kill me.
Oh my God, it was just it's incredible. I was just gonna say the thing that I love was the scene between Bear and the Colin Tomlinson actor, where they've just come into the store for the first time after they've slept together for the first night, and Nikki is in the back of the shot, blurred out, but she's clearly staring at him. And I was like, this is masterful filmmaking right here, because we're cutting back and forth, but they know very well that the conversation that's happening in the foreground is not that important. What's important is this blurry object in the background. And they do this thing, which is that the cuts backwards and forwards actually shift like pan laterally every now and again. Like the camera is, just moved off axis by 45 degrees. So it just puts you off axis as you're watching this. And you're like constantly on edge about what's happening. It's the same with the conversation in the car when he's talking to Sarah and she's getting she's telling him that she got accepted to Luther. You know, it's the surprise versus suspense thing. You know what's coming and you're just waiting for it to happen. And the movie is just like going, we can just rest in the suspense so that when it actually happens, it will be the most devastating thing. But you knew it was coming. And that's that thing about like, there's no surprises to the movie. It is all suspense.
I think the moment to moment suspense,
amazing.
especially with Indy's performance of this Nikki character is the way that like her face can contort in a lot of weird ways.
Yeah.
And she can just hold it still. Like the frown, I think, is what got me.
Oh, yeah. We cut to him. She's like,
most. And I was
it's
like,
a forced frown as well, right?
Yeah. That's
so,
like a real demon playing puppetry with your face kind of thing.
But I also love like 3 minutes later than that, she suddenly snaps out and she's like, oh, fuck, it's not me. And she hits herself in the face with a brick. Seems to be a recurring theme in a lot of his films, by the way. It happens in The Chair quite significantly.
A character realizes they're not them and then...
just hitting themselves in the face with a brick. I flat out love this. I really, am just excited. It's a smaller movie than when we saw Hereditary, but it was like when we saw Hereditary and it was like Ari Aster was the new discovery. It was the same sort of thing where you're like, oh man, I'm in. Like whatever we got coming, I'm in.
Yeah, I it's so funny because like you can watch this film and experience it through so many different lenses. You can just have a good time in a horror movie.
Yeah.
You can look at it with all of the tropes of the youths and sort of dating culture in your sort of late 20s and 2026.
Actually, just on that note, one thing I actually quite liked was that it didn't feel like it was a Tinder movie or anything like that, or a swipe right movie. Like it was very...
What does that mean?
Like it wasn't very much like they were stalking each other on social networks or their social communications was driving how they, these people like meet up for trivia. They would
they were friends.
They would call each other.
He was stalking her Instagram once, but
it didn't like what I liked about that is like that didn't feel like a big factor to this.
No.
Like he Googles, there's a mention of an LLM in there somewhere, like when he Googles, he talks to a chat bot at one point.
Oh yeah, there's
create
LLM. No, but there's also like a Reddit surrogate thing. All like but fake media
it's very
stuff.
Minor. It's not like it drives the film as much as something made by someone of this generation I would expect it to do. And I think it's
that
cool.
speaks. Yeah. I think that speaks to creators not wanting to deal with it. I think we are we're getting to, I know I am. It is more of an addiction than it is a joy. And I think a lot of young people that are making films or any sort of art on the internet also kind of are like, they grew up in this shit and they're kind of over it.
Yeah. I don't know whatever the reason is, but I was like, I'm kind of glad that this is a very light touch social media movie, you know, like the very barely at all.
Well, I think because it does truly focus on essentially like outside of who is the villain, it's Bear.
Yeah.
But like with the two characters together, sort of like they're each obsessed with each other in a different way. Right. Like the Freaky Nikki is obsessed because it's the toxic version of love in like the more visceral, violent, like psychotic kind of way. And Bear is obsessed in the ways that can feed into that.
Yeah.
But like in the lighter touch and sort of like the quiet evils of it and not accepting reality and not like you could look at this as a allegory for like just not being able to move on. Like she's leaving at the beginning of this movie, she's quitting the store. She's obviously going to that they both work at.
Yeah.
She's obviously going to move on with her life wherever that would be.
Yeah.
And he cannot have that. So he has to do some grand gesture. First, his idea was tell her how he feels, but he pussies out of that. And instead,
it doesn't go well.
It doesn't go well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and I think what I really like is you're absolutely right. When he breaks the wish willow, whatever the hell it's called, One Wish Willow, he doesn't believe that's going to happen, but he just needs to do something, and so my point behind that is that doesn't make him a villain making the wish. When he realizes what happened and doesn't do anything to try to counteract it and just goes along with the good stuff, even though the bad is really fucked up, that makes him the villain.
Yeah.
And that turn is interesting.
There's sort of like a moment where when they kind of go on the sort of dating montage of the film, it's kind of like there's a question to be asked, like whether he understands this is actually what happened. Or
he's convinced himself at that point that it's fine. Like, oh, she was on drugs that night, and
it wasn't the One Wish Willow.
Yeah,
but the more that she like starts cooking his cat, or you know, like
the photos with lunch where it's him sleeping, it's like it's you, and then it's her and him, and it's not me.
Yeah,
and you're like, what the fuck? And like, here you go, Mr. Food Critic. There's so many small moments.
Yeah, where he kind of understands what's going on, and I think it's really smart because, you know, again, the movie is subverting. The one thing it is subverting is the idea of like the puppy dog love kind of thing. It's the, you know, like we were just talking about John Cusack before, and, you know, like Say Anything, you know, standing outside the window with the boom box. Yeah. The sort of like hopeless, the sort of perception of the hopelessly romantic who cannot, you know, get a leg up in this world.
And I feel like movies when I was younger, like Say Anything and stuff like that, like convinced me that like, that's how it worked.
Yeah.
And like I made girls mixtapes and like, and I think I cringed. The cringiest thing I think I ever did was like on a mixtape, I then sang a version of a song.
Oh, good God.
Right?
Oh, good God.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, didn't work. But like,
but just to be fair, I've done many embarrassing things.
But like my point is
not as bad as that.
No. but this is when I was
like, I would not be able to show my face
like,
in public.
This was like middle school or like early high school, right? No, but like it's true.
Yeah.
But you don't. Oftentimes. And I can only speak for the media in which I grew up with. Yeah. Like that was kind of the messaging, and like even as you grow up, you realize that, you know, that's not how it works. Obviously, and you sort of become a more complete person, and you deal with people. You meet people where they are, and you eventually get into relationships that hopefully work. I think what this movie is calling out essentially with the Bear character is the many, many people in this world that just don't take that next step outside of like a very juvenile idea of what love and or relationship could be.
Yeah.
And I love that this movie sort of like he's super cringe, and it's because he cannot move past that cringe that he gets himself into the situation that he's in. And then it displays exactly the kind of person he is, which is a bad one because he does not stop it or worked hard enough to stop it. I was so glad they didn't try to like give him a hero turn.
No. All I wanted by the end of it was for his comeuppance.
Yeah.
And again, I think the movie's a little light on that, but I think the other thing is it's so well executed at this point is like I'm on board. What a great opener to the movie as well, when he's telling her the story.
Oh
and
my God, it's
with
the waitress?
Yeah.
So good.
So good. This is such a well-written movie, so well structured, so well executed as well. Like, Barker just has like a real confidence in placing the camera in an uncomfortable position and leaving it there and not doing anything fancy with it. There's very little like showmanship in this movie from a like how much money can we spend behind the camera as much as there is like how well can I edit this and how much can I build the tension here.
Simple stuff that they do excellently is like her backwards walking.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Perfect.
Terrifying.
Perfect.
Absolutely terrifying.
The way she is lit to show what she actually is without doing any like makeup or prosthetics.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But again, and it just makes this 5 foot, lovely looking actress absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Like she is the monster of the movie. And it is purely because it is purely done, like in the sort of Cabinet of Dr. Caligari way, like through light and shadow, like I couldn't be more excited about this movie. And I loved the audience reactions to this movie.
Oh, it's great.
I love sitting in an audience with this movie and like, girls had come with their, like friends for a girls' night out. Boys had come out for like a horror movie and they were sitting next to each other and they were terrified of like everything that was happening. Communal experience. This is the movies.
Yeah.
It's so good.
This is an instant buy when it comes out on 4K. I will own it instantly. There's no question about it. This is a movie that I'll watch a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, this is a movie that would be very fun to watch with first timers.
Yeah, I said to my wife as well when I came home, I was like, because she doesn't like horror movies whatsoever. I was like, this is a very scary movie and it's a very disturbing movie, but I think you would actually like this. I think you would actually like really get a kick out of this.
You know what it is? I think this might be sort of my final thought.
Yeah.
It's all those things you just said, but it's also a really honest movie.
Yeah.
In like every sense of the word. The characters feel like they would do the things that they're doing. The writer feels like they understand like the situation that the characters are in, and the way that it is shot and shown and that you hear in it is just so like earnest in like they understand the assignment of doing a simple idea to the highest level they possibly can.
It also like the mania of like new love and like the sort of the thing that happens, which is the performance of new love, which is that it is like at sometimes hysterical and sometimes like possessive, and then at other times like you just snap out of it and like what the fuck am I doing kind of thing. You're like all that rings 100% true. It's like from frame. Remember when we talked about Lee Cronin's The Mummy? And
I do.
And remember the thing I said, which was that one of the things that's like really an odd choice in that movie is that there's a hard cut to 8 years later that happens where the character is exactly the same before the cut and after the cut.
Yeah.
And for me, my brain was going, well, what has happened here? Why would you do that? Because it's the obvious thing to do is to like make that cut exemplify a change. Every moment that happens in this movie, you are acutely aware of what is possibly going to happen because you believe the characters and you believe the situation. When they're doing like that Jenga tower
game,
the Jenga tower game, and he pulls a brick that says "kiss the person to your left," like everyone in the audience immediately knows what's about to happen,
but not exactly how it happened.
No, but we immediately know what the stakes are of what is about to happen, right? Like we're immediately like, oh shit, because that means something. So I think it's all built on like a clear understanding of what terrifies us and what's real, and it's just so much fun to watch. It is so much fun to watch in a movie theater.
Yeah.
It's highest praises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything negative on it.
No.
The
only thing is that like, I could have seen more of a comeuppance, but also I was like, that's a bad idea, probably.
I think the instant I think because the movie is so obsessed with the Nikki Bear relationship, it doesn't give the Sarah character a lot of time to get to where she gets in that car. Yeah. Like you get it from a small thing. I wouldn't have minded. Like this movie is so really well done on a lot of like very minor relationship things when it comes to Bear and Nikki. I think I would have liked to see just a hair more of. Again, I know what you're saying.
I know what you're saying. It's the same thing with my thing about the end being like I would have wanted more of a comeuppance. But what I gravitate towards in a film like this and in the situation where I'm watching this is that like, okay, it's not quite what I may have wanted, but I'm also so bought in at this point in terms of like what the decisions are that I'm like, that is the decision they made, and
Easy peasy.
it was a good one.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, this has been the only podcast about the film Obsession. Shahir, when you are not carving intricate wooden wish sticks to basically exert your will across the cosmos, where can folks find
you
you?
can find me choking on a wishbone at my website, suvanova.com. That's SUVANOVA. Matt, when you are using willow branch as a wart remover, where can people find you?
You can find me going back to my website to check my facts and figures because I was dead tired when I started this and couldn't do it before. Over my website, Extra History and Extra Credits. We got a bunch of good stuff coming out. You can check out that short on Extra History about the basically the wackiness of aspirin and/or why you shouldn't listen to your crazy aunt about like just doing medicinal medicines
Or
all the
RFK
time.
Jr.
Oh, yeah, whomever.
Yeah,
Maybe
don't-
that is your aunt.
Yeah.
Next week, we just made a document.
We did make a document. What do we got next week?
Next week is we actually don't know. It's the one that could be either.
Oh yeah, I'm excited by an indie movie called Blue Heron, which is been widely regarded as one of the best releases of the year, but it's only playing at a few theaters, so we'll see if we can get to that. And
And I
also,
want to see I Love Boosters.
Boots Riley's follow up to Sorry to Bother You is finally making a scene here, and I've heard great things about it, so it'd be great to see that as well.
Actually, I'm confident enough in our release schedule up until the fifth one down. I'm happy to just sort of go through it. So today is Obsession that you're listening to right now. The following week is going to be either Blue Heron or I Love Boosters. The week after that's Backrooms. The week after that is Master of the Universe. And the week after that is Disclosure
Do you
Day.
have Supergirl in there somewhere?
Supergirl is after Disclosure Day.
Oh, there you go. Good summer lineup coming up.
Yeah.
Like a new Spielberg. A new Spielberg is coming
I
out.
gotta be honest. I am not excited for that.
Did you not see War of the Worlds?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like War of the
Did not
Worlds?
like War of the Worlds.
Now, I don't like the ending of War of the Worlds, but I was like, War of the Worlds is masterful.
Yeah. I didn't like it. So, I mean, I want to like this. I
Yeah.
really loved Fablemans.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? But look, Spielberg. Spielberg.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
movie
I mean,
theater,
it'll
I'm
get
just
me
like,
there.
Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing here?
All right. Well, we'll talk at you next week with one of those two films. Email us in onlymoviepodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you'd like. We're probably going to make the decision before you do, but it'd be really great to see if we were right.
Yeah. See what happens.
Yeah. All right. Bye,
Make a
everybody.
wish.
Whoa, he did it. He did the thing.